Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Brendan Vaughn, and this is Just Your Average Game Chat. Today I'm going to be talking about the looter shooter genre, and more or less Borderlands 3, because personally that's my favorite current looter shooter. Now, Borderlands 3 kind of takes what Borderlands 1 and 2 built, like it takes that foundation, and as far as gameplay goes, it expands on it in every way, in my opinion. Now, you have a lot of people who say it's basically Borderlands 2, and they're not wrong. It just took the aspects of Borderlands 2 everybody loved and then expanded on those to make it really its own thing. Like, it's kind of standalone. It's really what the fans liked from Borderlands 2 just put into another game, but better. And I would also like to say that personally, I think Borderlands 3 has a better story in the sense that it's more engaging. Not to say the story is actually better or written any better, it's just more engaging. And I feel like, especially for a new audience, like people who are new to the franchise or the series, it's a much better game because it's just more engaging. Like, I haven't found a single player game. Well, not necessarily, it's not a single player game, but for example, it takes me a while to kind of get sucked into a single player game if it's not just automatically engaging, like if I'm not just pulled into it. And Borderlands 3 has that like pull. It has that gravitational pull. Like, I just like it. It has me hooked in, and I've just been engaged the entire time I've been playing through it. And nowadays it's kind of hard to find games like that, at least for me. And so I was really surprised when I was playing Borderlands 3 and I was just sucked into it. I was like, wow, this game is truly amazing. Because you have all the aspects of Borderlands Borderlands fans have liked, and it's just slapped into a new game, expanded upon, and then the story is just engaging. Now, Borderlands 2 had an amazing story. It really did. But it was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it could have been like delivered better, I guess you would say. The story itself was written fantastically, but Borderlands 3 is it's just more engaging. It's more like, here you are, like, I don't know, to me it's just more engaging in the fact that not you don't necessarily know what's going on, you're just kind of pulled into it and you kind of experience like the whole thing. And like in this game you have your actual characters you're playing as talk a lot more, and it's just engaging. Like, you feel like you're really getting to know all the characters, and I really like that about the game. And that's not even including the thing the Borderlands series is most famous for, right? I wouldn't say most famous for, even most known for, actually. But a big thing about the Borderlands games is that it's just funny. Like, the games are made to be funny. And for some people, the comedy in the game is a little hit or miss, so you might not like it, you might. But personally, I love it. It has me cracking up all the time. Now, obviously, when you're playing through the game and you have to kind of get through all those cutscenes and you're listening to it over and over again, it's going to get old. I wish you could actually skip through it, which you can't. I don't understand why, but I would like that feature to be added in an update. Not that I don't appreciate it, because I love the comedy in the game. It's just, when I'm playing through it, I'm just trying to grind out. I would like the option to just kind of skip through cutscenes I've already watched a few times over, but that's just, that's just me. Um, but yeah, the game is hilarious. It's really, I don't know, it's funny. I've found myself, especially in the first like part of the game, like the very like start off, it's just funny. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Most fans enjoy it. Yeah. But the thing that really makes Borderlands pop for most people is just the guns. The guns are so crazy in this game. They always have been, but in Borderlands 3, it's even more so. So basically, what Gearbox did is that they made certain. Okay, so let's break down a gun for a second. You have the different stock, different magazine size, triggers, unit carrier, etc., barrels, stuff like that, optics, whatever. And they took they made basically a shit ton of those different things and then ran it through a random generator so those things could combine and to make completely unique guns, to the fact where you can make literally millions of different guns based off the tons of different rare, like not rarities, but like things that you could make the guns with, like different parts of the gun. There we go. Parts of the gun. And so you literally have millions of guns, and it's insane. It's amazing just to see all the variety. And it's just, I don't know, it's incredible. They literally have a gun that you get in the game that shoots out guns. You have a gun that shoots out guns. If you did not hear that, it's incredible. And it's just crazy. Borderlands 3 is crazy. That's just it's just zany, and that's how Borderlands has always been. But Borderlands 3 just is the peak of just craziness. Now, I will say, although there is variety, I do think they could have done more. And now I know what you must be thinking. There's already millions of different guns in the game. How could they have done more? Well, all the manufacturers have their certain thing. Like Torque has, like, you have like the impact grenade shooting guns as well, and you can switch it and have the sticky grenade firing, and then like when you reload they all blow up. And then you have Jacobs as fast as you can pull the trigger, yada yada yada. Then you have Hyperion, which has the front facing shield and things of that nature. But I really wish they would have added a little bit more to the manufacturer's thing. Like, I wish it would have been like, okay, yeah, Atlas has the tracking gun. Well, I wish Atlas had a little other something. So like every Atlas gun I would get wouldn't just be the same thing, if that makes sense. Like, I wish they would have had all the attachments to which they did an amazing job in, by the way, but just add a little bit more of a manufacturer thing. Like, okay, well, this Atlas gun does this, well, this Atlas gun does that. And maybe they're going to add more manufacturers in post-launch, which they might, or maybe what I'm talking about, they'll add that as well. I don't know, but as of now, not that it's boring at all, or even stale. It's just something, I don't know. It's just like when you pick up a gun, you're like, oh, okay, well, I don't really like Dow guns, so I don't really want to mess with this anymore. So, I mean, I don't know. It could just be me thinking that way, but honestly, I think the game would, I don't know, the guns are varied. They're just not diverse, if that makes sense. But yeah, another thing I have to complain about the game, and by the way, guys, the game is amazing. It's seriously a great game. I'm just kind of nitpicking at this point, talking about things I don't like about it. I am going to be kind of talking about things I love about the game more on, but right now I'm just kind of doing my little, I'm not going to say I'm griping, which I kind of am, but, I'm just kind of nitpicking at this point. But the cosmetics, they could have been better, and I know it's just cosmetics, but I mean, I don't know. I like my gamer swag, the skins, there are some good skins. Some of them are kind of just eh. I mean, the heads could be way better. The diversity in the heads. I mean, you have like heads that look cool and all, but like most of them are just kind of, I don't know who they're for. Like, I really don't. Like, you have this one that's like, it kind of looks like Roadhog of like a fat, obese Roadhog. Like, take a picture that you would associate with a barbecue restaurant, like a pig face, slap it onto like a fat head, and then have like just a huge underbite and goggles on, and that's literally a head for Zane. To me, it makes no sense. I mean, I don't know. Some people might like it. I personally don't, and I'm not just like outing that one head. I'm just giving an example because some of the heads are just kind of like that. You're like, first of all, who's gonna want that? And second of all, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Borderlands 2, and obviously you have cosmetics that are gonna come with DLC, but Borderlands 2 had better cosmetics in my opinion. But like I said, that is just my opinion, guys. One thing I do love about the cosmetics, though, is that on the skins for your character, you can actually have that skin, but then you can, like, change the colors of that skin. So, like, you have a skin that, like, looks a certain way, and it has its, base colors, and then if you don't like the colors, but you love the skin, you can actually go and change the colors of the skin, which I love. I wish more games did that, because it's really cool, and it just makes you, customizing your character, like it gives it you that extra flavor, the extra flair that you want it to have, and I really appreciate that. Now getting into gun camos, I actually do like the gun camos, most of the gun camos anyway. One of after you beat the main story and stuff, and you get to access the I think hold up one second. And then after you beat the story, you have a guardian rank, and the guardian rank, you know, it's kind of like the badass rank was in Borderlands 2. It kind of just upgrades your character, gives your character that extra edge, and then as you're doing that, you actually unlock different I wouldn't call them abilities or skills, but just kind of like little bonuses along the way of the progression tree, I guess you would call it. It's not a tree, but you know, the as you progress, you just unlock certain things. And so one of those things, the first thing you unlock for each branch is a camo, and then you unlock a skin. And the first camo is really dope. Second camo is pretty dope. The third camo is kind of garbage. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, when I unlocked it, and I was like, because I unlocked the first camo, and I was like, bet this camo is dope. I'm gonna put it on all my guns, and I did, at least for the most part. Second camo unlocked, then I was like running half and half, and then I unlocked that third camo, and I was like, bet I'm gonna go check this out and put it on a gun. And then I went and go check it out, and I was just disappointed. I was like, what the heck? It's basically like olive green drab color, and then you have a gray skull, and then over that gray skull is like an orange crosshair, and that's it. That's the entire camo. Like, what? I want something a little bit more pop than that, you know? It's just kind of basic. And so, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of disappointing to me when I unlocked it the other day, and I was like, bet, you know, I was really excited about it, and it was just kind of But like I said, guys, game is amazing. I'm just nitpicking at this point at the camos and stuff like that. They are gonna release more camos and skins and heads, stuff like that, post launch. So hopefully the post launch content is gonna be a little bit better than the actual launch content. But like I said, guys, game's still amazing. I'm just griping about the cosmetics. Now I'm going to talk about the actual gameplay for a minute. And like I said, the story is insanely engaging, and it's a very fun playthrough of the story. The story was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. It's a little bit longer than Borderlands 2 story was, and it was good. I was like thinking, we got, and on Borderlands 3 you can travel from planet to planet, and I was like thinking after a while, I was like, bet, so like the campaign's about to wrap up, and it kind of seemed that way, like the game was like kind of going towards a wrapping up point, and then it just didn't. It like blew my mind. I was like, okay, so we're about to beat the game, we're about to have to beat the game. Like, me and my homie were playing through, and we're just like, we're about to beat the game. We're gonna be the first of our friends to beat it. It's gonna be sick. And then we're going through playing along, and it's like, nah, you're not about to beat this game. But it was a surprise, but it was a pleasant surprise. I wanted it to keep going. And another thing about the game is that the side missions are actually worthwhile. They're actually fun, and like it gives you like things at the end, like you can unlock special weapons and like like different gear and stuff like that doing the side missions. The side missions are fun and they're entertaining, and it's just like a big step up for Borderlands 2. Not to say Borderlands 2 didn't have good side quests. It did. They just, I don't know, for the most part the side quests in Borderlands 2 were kind of, some of them were good, some of them were just kind of like, it was kind of like you're just doing something just to do it, or like level up, or maybe you got something, but it wasn't an engaging side mission. In Borderlands 3, the side missions are actually engaging, and it makes it worthwhile doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually fun to participate in the side missions, unlike some games out there. And now, once you beat the story, the game's not over. Like, you can not only replay through the story on True Vault Hunter mode like you could in Borderlands 2, but you can actually, they introduced a Mayhem mode in this game. And the Mayhem mode, if anybody out there has played Diablo, is kind of like, you're just making it harder for yourself, and your enemies get different, buffs and stuff like that. and then you get kind of negative things done to you and things like that, just to make it more challenging, more fun, more engaging. You get new enemy types that have like a completely different way of like you had to like figure out different ways to fight them, and then once you do, it's just like a whole other experience. So you go through like a new playthrough, and it's like the same story, same side missions, but you have new enemies thrown into the mix that you have to like continuously like learn and understand and like kind of go a route different ways. It just completely changes up the game. Like it's like, okay, we have like the same game we're giving to you, but we're going to throw in like so many other variables into the game to make it more engaging, make it more exciting, make it more worth playing. And then not only do you have that, but you have a boosted a loot drop rarity, and obviously looter shooters is mainly about the loot, and so you're like getting better loot, and it's not like you're not just like playing like seeing like there's not like what I'm trying to say is a lot of games you're just kind of grinding, and it feels like you're not grinding for a purpose. And in Borderlands 3, it's kind of like you kind of make it what you want in a way. Like there's not necessarily like a huge end game thing. Like there are things to do that in end game that if you want that you unlock it end game, but like what I mean is that you're not necessarily grinding to do something. Like for this, like for example, Destiny, you would grind maybe to do like a raid and get better at the raid or be able to even complete the raid. Or maybe Crucible, you want to grind to get certain things to do in competitive. And Borderlands 3 is kind of what you want it to be in a way in game as far as I'm concerned. And I kind of like it though. It's like you're not pressured to do it. You don't feel like you have to do it. It's just kind of there if you want to do it, and it's worth doing in the sense that it's so fun. And like the thing is, you're not necessarily doing it for something. Like you're getting loot and stuff like that, but what I mean, you're not doing it for like another mode or something else. You're not doing it for different guns to be better than everybody else. You're just doing it because it's fun to do. And the legendary guns you get in Borderlands 3 are literally insanity. They are so cool and so different from any other game I've ever played in my entire life. It's just crazy to see. And it is just, I just the other day, I got a Jacob's pistol. I'm blanking on the name, and I apologize for that. But basically, Jacobs is like the guns are you fire as fast as you can pull the trigger, and usually it's like revolvers and things of that nature. And I have a revolver, and you pull back the hammer to fire the gun or whatever. Every time you had to pull back the hammer or whatever, the hammer on this gun is like a wheel, and so you just like basically pull the trigger and like there's just your whole magazine, and it's crazy and it's so fun. Like the fire rate on the gun's insane, and that's not even a cool one. Like that's just something that's interesting, but that's not even one that's like crazy. Like they have a gun that shoots burgers. They have a gun that shoots like poop. They have a gun that's like it's a butt plug gun, and like it does like insane melee damage. And that's just scratching the surface of. And those are just the crazy guns, by the way. There are other crazy guns. They're actually cool. Those are just the ones that kind of stand out. But I don't know. It's just incredible the detail and the things they did to make this game what it is. It's kind of funny. Like it's a game that's like serious in a way. Well, let me rephrase that. It's like a game that doesn't take itself seriously. It's just a game that's like challenging and it's engaging and it's just fun to play. And that's what I really enjoy about Borderlands as a series. Like it's not trying to be something. It's not trying to be like, yeah, this is the game that's gonna just completely change your life. It's just a game that like the developers are just like, hey, yeah, this is our game and it's just fun to play. And that's literally what video gaming was to start off with. And I feel like a lot of developers have kind of lost touch in that. Like they try to make games be something. Like they try to make games, and don't get me wrong, I do appreciate developers doing that sort of thing, but it's nice to see not every developer do that. I mean, obviously, like I've said, Borderlands 3 is revolutionary in the sense that it has all these new things, but at its core, it's just meant to be fun and enjoyable, and that's the most appealing thing about it. Like, it's just truly a game. You can come home after a long day, or maybe you're stressed. Maybe you have a lot of stuff going on, and you just want to chill. You just want to come home, drop everything real world, and just engage into something that's like mindlessly fun. And Borderlands 3 is that game. Borderlands 3, you can sit down and just forget everything and just engage yourself into it and just play it and have so much fun. And not to say that, like, I mean, obviously you have like ways you can play the game other than just like, oh yeah, I just want to focus on having fun. You can just focus on having fun, but you can also focus on just like doing insane like character builds and like stuff like that. And see, that's the thing. Like, I love competitive gaming. I love esports. I love to see it grow in the way it has. I love Call of Duty. And like one of my favorite games of all time is Rainbow Six Siege, and the competitive aspect and just having to think and be tactical and work with the team. And that sort of thing is amazing in its own right. But then again, on the opposite end of a spectrum, you just have a game where you don't necessarily have to think. You don't necessarily have to like try hard. You don't have to just practice and be good at it. You can just come and play and have fun. I mean, it's just rewarding in its own right, in its own way. You're not like, I don't know, it's just fun to play. And like, it's literally so fun to play that they don't even have to have any, like post story stuff to do, but they do. They did have that stuff. You could honestly just play through it over and over again. And the fact of just the gameplay being what it is makes it so fun. But then they went the extra mile and like made all this stuff post launch, and then they have right now they're having special events go on that's completely free to everybody who has the game. And that's amazing to see. They're really supporting their community in a way a lot of people don't do, especially not for free, but Gearbox is doing that. They just want to make their game open to so many people and just fun for everybody. And it's really just something special. It really is. Like, you have games like Destiny, like, and their Destiny is like a looter shooter in its own right. And then you had Ubisoft's Division come out, which I kind of felt like was a direct competitor with Destiny. But then you just have Borderlands 3 come out, and it's its own thing. It's in another lane. It's a looter shooter like Destiny, like The Division, but it's in a whole other lane. Like, you're not grinding, you're just grinding for fun. You're grinding to have fun. And the other games, it felt like a chore. Grinding felt like a chore. And not to say I didn't like it. Don't believe me, I was grinding my ass off. Me and my homies were grinding our asses off in D1, Destiny 1, trying to get things like Gallahorn and other exotics, because especially at the beginning of the game, it was impossible, it felt like, to get exotics. We were out there hitting the grind, but it just felt like a chore in the same sense. It felt worth doing, but like a chore nonetheless. And in Borderlands, you're out there having fun. Like, it's just, the grind is fun. I have not been playing Borderlands and been like, yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of getting through it, trying to get this certain gun. No, I've never been like that. I've always just been having fun and then getting new legendaries and then experiencing those legendaries and just having fun with the amazing combos and the amazing things, amazing builds you can do with the characters and the weapons and all the different gear and stuff. It's just crazy how diverse each player can be based off your specific play styles, based off of how you want to play the game, based off the guns and things you have. It's just crazy, it's diverse, and it's unlike any other looter shooter there is. Not to say I don't like Destiny. I like Destiny. I've always liked Destiny, but Borderlands, as far as just having fun, it just takes the cake out of any other looter shooter to me. It's truly just an amazing game, and I don't know. That's all I really have to say about it. I mean, just, if you don't have it, it's on sale at the moment of this podcast. It's on sale for $33 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Go pick it up. If you haven't already and you're really interested in how I have described it, go pick it up, guys. It's amazing. It's an amazing game. You're not going to regret it. It's just fun to play. Not only to mention, they're talking about making it cross-play, which is going to be absolutely insane. I know I'm waiting for it to happen because I have a lot of friends who got it on Xbox and they have it on PlayStation, but I opted to get it on PC because I'm a greedy little asshole. But anyway, yeah, just I recommend going and picking it up. It's a great game to play, and you're really gonna enjoy it. Now I do want to talk about Destiny. Destiny is a great game in its own rights. Destiny 2 has kind of fallen off for a lot of people. They're trying to bring it back now that Bungie has left Activision. And it kind of felt like Activision was kind of being greedy like they are. And I'm going to actually do a second episode, or not a second episode, but another episode. The next episode, I'm going to be talking about Activision and stuff. So I'll get to that when I get to it. But now that Bungie has left it, they're kind of making it back to what Destiny 1 was. And Destiny 1, especially post-launch, the DLC made that game something special. The DLC made Destiny amazing. And Destiny 2 kind of started off wanting to do what Destiny 1 ended as, and they did at first. Like, it felt like that at first. And then it was kind of like, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and give it backstory real quick. Destiny 1 comes out, and people are hyped for it. I'm hyped for it. My homie, he's even more hyped for it than I am. And we get our hands on it, and we're like playing the garbage out of it. We're staying up, like, when the game just came out, we're up at 3 a.m. We have school at 7 a.m. and we're just grinding out this game, trying to beat it. And like, it's a looter shooter, but God bless America, the loot was so hard to obtain at the beginning of the game. When you first beat the game, I think the level cap at that time was level 20, and finding legendaries was hard. Not even to mention exotics. Getting exotics in D1 early game or at launch was rough, guys. It was awful. And then and you see people like rocking exotics, and you're like, dear God, like either they're really lucky or they just like devoted like half their life to playing this game. That's how hard the grind was. But then like at the same time, it almost felt worth it in a way. And then they made it a little bit easier with the updates. And then post-launch came out, they added more exotics, made it had different ways to get exotics and things of that nature. And then more and more exotics became slightly easier to get, but it was still fun and worth doing. And now I feel like in Destiny, the fun aspect of getting legendaries and exotics was not only like using them in PvE stuff like the strikes and the raids and things of that nature, but you have the Crucible as well, which is the competitive multiplayer mode, and it was really fun. And different exotics were like overpowered in Crucible and things of that nature, and some exotics are just like overpowered in PvE. And PvE is a really big thing in Destiny's game. It's kind of I don't know. I would say it's the main thing, but it depends on the player. And considering that Destiny 2 kind of catered it towards the Crucible, makes it seem like maybe the Crucible aspect of the game is more popular for the majority of the community. I'm not sure on that, but anyway, Destiny, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Destiny. Like, I like it. It's a fun game. The first one's very grind heavy, and man, I don't know. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like Destiny is trying to be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I know I just kind of left that open ended or whatever, but I don't know how I feel about it. I like the game. I do. It's just after a while, it's not the thing for me. Like I just don't feel like it's a game worth grinding to a certain degree. Obviously, I grinded the mess out of Destiny, but it's not like something that after a while it just keeps me interested, you know? Like, because after a while it's the exact same thing, and it loses its touch. Like, it's not that as fun, and especially Destiny 2. Like, Destiny 1 was really good, especially like as far as the Nightfalls and the raids. They were so memorable and so like different. And like when you had like the Nightfalls, they were so hard, and you had to really like legitimately work with your team to like complete. And in Destiny 2, they were just kind of nothing. Like, it was kind of just felt like a normal strike, just a little bit harder. And that's not, in my mind, what a Nightfall should be. I feel like it should have been the ultimate test of strengths. And then you had the raid, which is like making Nightfalls look like nothing. And it was just crazy. Like, me personally, I had a lot of people who didn't really like playing raids with me because I'm not very good at jumping around. And when you can't make your spot perfectly, you kind of are going to get shit on by the homies in the fire team, which is fine. I mean, I deserved it, I guess. But I don't know. It just made it like you're like on edge, and it took like hard hours to grind for. And it was just so worth doing. And you know that's Destiny 1 though. When I'm talking about how I don't know how I feel about it at this point, I'm really more so referring to Destiny 2. So when Destiny 2 came out, like I said, Destiny 1, it was dumb hard to get any exotics at the beginning. Then they made it easier, so it was more accessible to get exotics. And then in the game, like at the tail end of Destiny 1's life, it was truly like an amazing game, and I loved it. I really did. But Destiny 2, when it came out, the story, I will say, the story of Destiny 2 was phenomenally better than Destiny 1. It was just so much better. It was actually telling a story, and you're actually interested in the story. And I do like that. And, you know, it was easier to get gear. Like, legendary gear was easier, exotic gear was easier. And at first, it felt good. It felt really good, like you were progressing, and it felt, you know, like I said, really good. But towards the end of, well, not the end, but after the story, post story, it was too easy to get exotics. It made it like grinding was just kind of like you're just kind of getting exotics here and there, and like it just kind of lost it for me. Like, it wasn't hard enough. Like, I complained about Destiny 1 being too hard, but then Destiny 2 comes out and it's nowhere near hard enough like it should be. And the thing about Borderlands, I'm going to make a direct comparison real quick. Borderlands has, okay, so Borderlands legendaries are the equivalent of Destiny exotics. But the thing about it is that Destiny exotics, while they have a cool perk and everything, and they look really cool, I will give that to Destiny, you don't have that many. Alright, you just have like a specific few, which is good for Destiny, I do think. But Borderlands, it is easier to get legendaries in Borderlands than it is in Destiny, but at that same time, the variety is incredible. Like, it's so like huge, and every gun is so varied, and some guns are just absolutely crazy. In Destiny, you don't have that. And Destiny, while you know some exotics are good and some are deemed like, wow, this gun is crazy, that's crazy compared to the guns you were getting previously. Like, Borderlands guns are crazy, like crazier than you've seen in any game ever. And Destiny, for them to have, like don't get me wrong, Destiny's gun choice and the way they've designed their game is good. It needed that little extra grind to get those guns. And what I think it was that they were trying to make it appeal to a broader audience by making it easier, making it not so grind heavy, so casual players can come in and get a game and get that. But I don't think Destiny, the first one at least, was meant for casual players. I really don't. And Destiny 2 kind of catered more towards casual players. And honestly, I kind of think it's because Activision wanted a cash grab off the Destiny 1. That's my personal theory about it. because they were kind of implementing microtransactions into Destiny 2, and they kind of wanted to make Destiny 2 easier to play, so it appealed to a broader audience. So like I said, they get more money. That's just my theory. But anyway, so and then you have Destiny 2 doing that, and then the post launch content for Destiny 2 hasn't been hitting quite right, and then you have the latest DLC dropped, and a lot of people are liking it, but it's not as good as it could be. But that being said, a lot of people do think it is in part that Destiny is no longer with Activision, so they have less developer power behind their game, so there's less content. And I don't know. I do think Destiny 2 does do a good job of implementing exotic quests. Now, so I said it was a lot easier to get exotics in Destiny 2, and now they have specific guns you can only get through quests. You can't get it anywhere else, and the quests are insanely challenging to do, and I do like that aspect. They're trying to revert it back to more like D1 in a game, and not the end of D1's lifespan, and I really do think that it's a good decision and that they are heading the game in the right direction. And I'm really excited to see what they do in Destiny 3, because they don't no longer have Activision trying to manipulate their game in certain ways, but 2, they have creator freedom, and Bungie has made great games. I mean, they were the ones who originally made Halo, and Halo is one of my favorite series like ever. It's kind of fallen off here recently, but used to back in the day, Halo 1, 2, 3, those games, were just incredible. Halo Reach, incredible. And Destiny was kind of like their own thing, but you kind of felt that creative freedom come back a little bit, and they kind of lost it, I think, with Activision. But hopefully they'll bring it back. Hopefully they'll make the game truly what it was meant to be, like kind of what end of lifespan D1 was like. But like I said, we'll just have to see how that goes. I'm personally really excited. And now let's talk about The Division. The Division is Ubisoft's take on looter shooter genre. They're kind of trying to get their foot in the door, and it's very appreciated by a lot of people. I, for one, really like the tactical shooter genre in its own right. And Tom Clancy Games, who are owned by Ubisoft, are, they're kind of, they make mainly tactical shooter games. I'm pretty sure that's actually all they make is tactical shooter games. And they wanted to kind of take that tactical shooter formula and put it into a looter shooter, and I really like it. I really do. Division 1 was pretty good. And then you had post-launch content, and it made it better. Like you played Division and Division 1, and you're kind of like, that's fun. They're kind of doing what Destiny did, but Destiny's doing it way better. And they listened to the community. Towards the end of its lifespan, they made it really great, kind of like how D1 was originally. And Division 2 started off great, just how they left off in Division 1. And it's a really good game. It's still a really good game. I haven't been playing it post-launch, though, so I can't really speak to that aspect of the game. So I'm sorry for that. But I do really like The Division. I really like the way it's been headed. I like the story behind it. I really like it. And actually, let's talk about the story for a second. The story, like the premise of the game, in that sense, I really like it. The story could be done way better. And honestly, as far as Ubisoft goes, I feel like most of their game's story could be done way better than it has been the past few years. But especially for The Division 2, they have a really good premise and really good concept. They just really need to hit home on that story and make it more interesting. But like I said, not Destiny, sorry. The Division has taken that looter shooter formula and brought it into like a real life scenario type deal. Like you have real life guns, real life attachments, and it's really cool, and I really appreciate it. But like I said, I don't think how am I going to word this? I don't think that Destiny is meant for everybody. I don't think that Division is made for everybody, and I don't think that Borderlands is made for everybody. I think each game has its own certain community that it really appeals to, and that's a good thing. You have kind of different areas of the looter shooter genre. I will say I do think Destiny is the most worth it grind of all these games. Division, as far as like for a purpose, I would say Destiny is more of a, it's kind of going to be worth your while as far as some of the modes and things you can do in that game. Division is kind of in the same sense like that, but I feel like it's a little bit less so than Destiny. Like Division, you can make it work with what you have, but in Destiny, like I feel like exotics are more special than they are in the Division by a long shot. And then you have Borderlands 3, which is, like I said, it's just incredibly fun. Like, I don't think anybody's ever just going to pick up Borderlands 3 and get bored. Um, and yeah, that's my take on the looter shooter genre. You can tell I'm a huge advocate for Borderlands 3. Like I said, it's on sale right now. If you haven't picked it up, go ahead and pick it up. Actually, real quick, I did forget to say one thing. Destiny 2 is kind of making it to where you can cross save between PC and PlayStation. I think that's actually a really good idea. Hopefully, maybe one day they can implement a cross play system. Hopefully, like Borderlands 3 will as well. And PlayStation, Sony, making it to where all PlayStation games are, they can be compatible for crossplay now, if the developer took the steps to do so. I think that's a huge thing for the community. I know Xbox has been wanting to push that for a while, but Sony was kind of not wanting to do it. But now that that's happening, hopefully we can see that sort of thing happen. Maybe Destiny 2 can be crossplay, and I think honestly that would be great for the game, especially now that Bungie's heading it up. Hopefully they have the people for that, though. Gearbox, same thing. It would be amazing for Borderlands 3 to be crossplay. Like I said, I have a lot of friends on various systems, and it'd be really cool if we could all play together. Division, obviously, that's a good idea, but I mean, I'm not speaking to them because I don't think Ubisoft is heading that thing up right now. But Bungie that's a possibility at this point, and Gearbox is a big possibility at this point as well. So hopefully that will happen. But yeah, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep just came out. A lot of people are liking it. If you have Destiny or if you're a fan of Destiny, I would go pick that up, check it out. A lot of my friends really like it. Borderlands 3, like I said, is on sale right now. Go pick that up if you can. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. It's going to be shorter than usual, but that's kind of all I had to talk about. I know I'm a little bit late talking about Borderlands and all that, but like I said, I didn't say this, but I just started this podcast not too long ago, and Borderlands 3 had already come out, and I've just been grinding post-game here recently, just getting as much legendary loot as I can, having a blast doing it. I'm actually starting a second character playthrough, so that's fun. I'll let you guys know about that and how that goes. But yeah, I really hope to see you guys purchase it. Let me know if you do. I have a Twitter. I think that's it right now. I'm working on a Facebook page, working on Instagram. Right now I have a Twitter, so check that out. Let me know what you think about Borderlands 3. And I would also like to tell you guys to go check my Patreon page if you would like to contribute to make this podcast better. So basically, if you contribute to my Patreon, all that money is going to go directly towards this podcast so I can get guests on the show, do some interviews. I would really love to do interviews, actually. So, yeah, if you guys want to hear that, if you want to hear more people get on the show and kind of make this podcast a little bit more diverse so we can maybe bounce things off of each other, things of that nature, go and, contribute to my Patreon. And also, I do have a YouTube channel right now. It's just still shot audio. I don't have a camera. That's something I'm also working towards getting. So, yeah, like I said, guys, if you want me to have guests on the show, be able to do interviews, and film the episodes, go to my Patreon and contribute. I will make it worth your while, guys. All right, that's gonna be it for this episode. It's a little bit short, like I said, but it's just kind of my take on the looter shooter genre, and it's just something I wanted to talk about personally because I really like looter shooters and love Borderlands 3. Wanted to talk about it, and yeah, guys, thanks for listening, and that's gonna wrap it up for this one. See you on the next one.